wrenching. Alright guys, we're back. We got a lot of work to do. This episode we're going to clean the pistons up as best we can. We're going to bolt the heads back on this thing and the intake so we can get one step closer to firing this thing up. I'm not going to talk a whole bunch. We're just going to jump right in.
Oh man, we got a brake cleaner fail. It's alright, we can use it.
Yeah.
It'll be alright. Wanted to show you guys how to measure the bore on your cylinders. So we got this handy dandy Pittsburgh kit from our local Harbor Freight. I know everybody's saying, oh, it's Harbor Freight tools, whatever. Well, it's got a lifetime warranty, so I mean, I could drop this if I wanted. But anyway, all jokes aside, show you guys how to do this. I want to knock my calipers on the ground. Let me set these over here. So we've cleaned up the top of these cylinders, as you guys seen, and the pistons. It came out really clean. I'm really surprised. I really wish I knew more about this engine. But we're going to slap this gauge in here. Just push these in. Oh, gotta loosen her up here. Push these in, slide them down in there. Make sure you get it square. Kind of rotate it back and forth. Make sure you get a nice reading there. Tighten that up. Slide that baby out. Now we just measure this with our calipers. Now this engine, stock, should be 4-inch 312. And we're at 4-inch 312. Pretty damn close. There's Spermatacks all over the place. Why did they have this thing apart if they didn't bore it over? What did they do? Did they just put new... I don't know. Oh, I can see you guys there. So, the game plan now. We've been rolling this thing over and cleaned the cylinders out pretty good. And it's got a stiff spot. I'm pretty sure it's in the crank. Might be in the cam, but it's got a tight spot. Now, the oil that was in this thing's at least 40 years old or whatever. So we devised a plan. We drained the old oil out to see what it looked like. Kind of looked it over. There aren't any chunks of anything in there. No metal shavings or anything, no, signs of catastrophic failure on the bottom end when they park this thing. So the game plan is we're going to dump a bunch of kerosene straight down in the top of the motor and a bunch of some old random weight oils that I pick up, when your neighbor says, hey, I'm having a yard sale. You go over and he's got 4 half quarts of this and that and everything else. I just mix all that shit together in a gallon jug and I use it to lube whatever. So we're going to give her the dump job. I'm going to put this kerosene in the bottom. We're going to be cranking this thing over by hand and mixing the oil and the kerosene together, and hopefully we can get this thing freed up a little bit. Kerosene used to be pretty cheap. This is like 20 bucks right now. How much kerosene does it take to fill an engine block? Hell, I don't know. get that going there. That'll be okay. Like baking a cake. Now I know what you're thinking. He's wasting all this good oil. No, it's all random weight stuff that I'm not going to use in nothing. And when we're done, we're going to drain this all out. And we'll probably use it for a bonfire. I think it's leaking right out of the front of the oil pan.
Huh.
But this gasket's got Permatex all over it, which is streams I've been worked on.
Yeah, get that container under it.
Get this pan under there. There we go.
All right, so what we've got here is a few of the cylinders have some scarring. Not real bad, but it's basically surface rust from sitting for so long and mice crapping down into the cylinders past the valves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move each cylinder all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to check and see if it needs honed a little bit. And I have this hone here. Goes on your drill. And I've had it soaking in straight 30 weight for a couple of days so the hone stones would suck up lots of oil and be fully saturated. And then I don't want to hone those and have a bunch of grit fall down on the bottom of the cylinder. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardboard here and I've cut it almost the exact diameter of the cylinders, just a smidge smaller. I put a drywall screw in the center and then I put a towel on it, and I have marked around this edge to give myself, I don't know, a ½ inch of extra towel maybe. And I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to fold the towel underneath the backside and push this right down in the cylinder, and I'll have a screw sticking up right in the center of the piston. And then I can take my hone and I can zoop, 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 maybe 2 times, maybe 3, I don't know, not very many, hopefully. Hopefully they clean up super fast, and I don't want to take a lot of material because I'm not changing the rings or doing any of that crap. I don't want to change the diameter. I just want to knock the burrs off of it. And then I'll be able to grab onto the end of the head of that screw, and I'll be able to pull it straight up. And when I do, it'll pull all the grit up with it so nothing sits down around the rings. And then I'll take a clean shop towel and I'll wipe the rest of the cylinder out and hope that's good enough. So I'll cut the rest of that off of there, and then I will proceed with the my master plan here, and we'll see if it works. It's pretty cheap, dirty, and easy, so hopefully that makes it work. All right, so I got it in place there, so you can kind of see my idea. The cardboard's down in there, and it kind of keeps the towel pushed around the outside edge of the cylinder. And then I'll just go in with the hone a couple times, grab my screw, pull it straight out, and then I'll take a rag and I'll wipe it out with a clean rag. I did have to use 2 towels and make one just a little bit larger to fold it down under there, and it's kind of tricky to get her down in there, but by the time I do 3 or 4 of them, I'll be an expert, and I'm only doing it once. So anyway, we will see how it works. I'm going to call that new. Now, should be able to take a fresh rag. Yeah, I pulled some garbage out of there. Perfect. Just move on to the next one. Yep, it's not all rough right there anymore. So I'll blow that out with the air hose. You can see all that rust in there. I've cleaned everything out, so there's no junk in there. It's just Rusty spots in the cylinder walls from those damn mice. But we'll see if we can't hone that a little bit, so at least it's smooth. And if we got blow by, we got blow by. Whatever. Let's do the second one. Yeah, even this piston has a bunch of pitting in it. But what do? Go on with life. Come on. Ooh, that one ate my towel on the bottom. That's not good. Still pretty bad right there. Man, that spot right there is just so bad. The bottom's okay, it's just right here. Alright guys, so I looked into that cylinder a little bit more, and unfortunately, the roughness that I feel happens to be innies, not outies, so it doesn't matter what I do. There's no fixing it unless you bore a cylinder out or something, but we ain't doing all that noise, at least not right now. So I'm gonna keep moving on to the next cylinder. I'll show you guys here. Maybe you can see it in the camera. This is the spot right here. Everything else is nice and smooth. This is discolored down here, but you can't feel it. So we're gonna live with it. I'm gonna move on. I got 2 more to do, and then I'm gonna pull that distributor, the water pump, and the timing chain cover, and we will see what's behind all that fun stuff. It's a Buick, so it has an external oil pump. I've never actually had one of those off a Buick before, so this will be a learning experience for everybody. Well, at least me. You may know what I'm doing, or what I should be doing. So first thing I need to do, get rid of this coil. Put the wire way down here. Coil's gone. Don't need that drama. I have to pull this bracket. Pull this distributor. I'm gonna get a little metal hand to toss that in. If not, I'll re-tap this shit for sure. Distributor's free. Come on, baby. Spins. I got a brand new HEI distributor straight from wish.com. So we'll toss that down there for now. Oh man. Yeah, some of these aren't too exciting. I'm gonna go with over tight. And they're just water pump bolts. And you know,
New water pump is probably what I should do, but unless this one looks like catastrophic failure, I'm just gonna rinse her off, put her right back on there. There's another bracket on it. I already loosened. Sure don't think so. I have this impact on the lowest setting here. That's why it's not getting too aggressive. Crank this up one. This one here felt like it came loose. Maybe it didn't. Yeah, them babies ain't happy. This one's turning. This one's one that's scaring me. Moved a little. Got it moving. It's not happy about it, but it's moving. I don't know if the backside of these bolt holes go straight into the water, into a water jacket, and so the ends of the bolts are rusty, or they just got over tightened. This water pump has to have been off of here because this Permatex all over the timing cup. Water pump actually doesn't look too bad from what I can see. Other than there's some goop in there. And these bolts don't want to come out. I'll get a pry bar. Like it came free, and it didn't. Man, there, I got it. Man, got lucky those didn't break off because we know they wanted to. That one's quite a bit better, but still. Sketchville, USA. Yeah, that gasket's not even that bad. That water pump looks like it's been replaced on. It's not a bad looking water pump. There isn't a whole lot of corrosion or anything in here. I mean, there's a little bit here. Give that a little bath and that'll be ready to go right back on. Let me go put it in my parts pile. You know, the trunk. You know, you can tell a lot by the contents of the car's trunk. And this car is currently telling lots of bad stories. There's some crapola in there. All right, guys, so I got the harmonic balancer off.
use this little tool here, little puller. It's just got a couple slots. Set her down on there. Put these 2 bolts in, boom, one on each side, boom. And then I found a couple spacers, just a nut and a washer. Shoved them down in there. Boom, hit her with the wrench, broke it loose, slid her right off. Back of that, it's guaranteed to leak. So I'll clean that up and hopefully it doesn't leak as bad. That's not looking so good, guys. I think the bolts come in from the bottom. Yep, I'd say yes sir they do. I've got a couple of bolts down there on the bottom side. Alright, so I'm going to get you guys in here. So, this is the back of the timing chain cover. As you can see, the last guy was clearly a Permatex dealer. I mean, they must, I don't know. I mean, there's just, it's a little dirty, nothing major. This turns the oil pump off the bottom of the distributor. Distributor comes in through here. Spin that. So I got a special tool that you stick down through the top of here, plugs into the bottom of that. Once we get everything bolted together and I get fresh oil in it, then we can brrr with the old drill, and that'll pump oil through the whole engine and get it all primed up. And we can even put an oil pressure gauge on the block and make sure that it's building oil pressure before we try and start this thing up for the first time. Now check this out. This is where I'm a little, there's just Permatex everywhere. I mean, it's like 4 tubes, literally 4 tubes of Permatex on this. Right here, all these holes that you see that are basically completely blocked off by Permatex, that's where the oil galleys are. They come out of the oil pump, right here. And they're actually supposed to, like, I don't know, pump oil to the entire engine. I don't know how that's supposed to happen when it's completely full of Permatex, but whatever. They got so much Permatex on here, they literally put Permatex on the timing chain, and it's still there. So, again, with the mystery of this engine, did they change the timing chain, get Permatex on there, and then run it? And the Permatex stay there for 40, 50, 60,000 miles? Or was the front of this thing just leaking? And so by the time they tore the whole front of the engine off to get this timing cover off, they were so frustrated that they decided to throw 4 bottles of Permatex at it. Now this seal, when they tore this off, that's the original seal, and as you can see, there's nothing in the bottom of this seal. So of course the front main seal was leaking oil like a sieve. I mean, maybe it had an oil leak because the seal went bad. They thought it was the cover on the timing chain, so they tore the cover off, put like 19 gallons of Permatex on it, bolted her back together, and she's still spitting out the front, and they gave up on it. I mean, originally I kind of hoped, hey, maybe they tore this off, they put a cool cam in it or something. But, you know, seeing their Permatex abilities, the one head on the passenger side, the freeze plug has been changed. I know because it had Permatex all over it. This exhaust manifold over here had Permatex for a gasket. So they had the head off, they had, yeah, I don't know. And it was all orange Permatex, so I know it was the same guy, whoever he is. So I'm gonna have to stuff rags down inside the oil pan there to try and keep all this Permatex and gasket and crap out of the oil pan while I clean the face of the block up that really needs cleaned up. I have a new timing chain. I'm just gonna put it on because it's the comp cams, like timing chain is like 28 bucks. I obviously need a new one of these seals. That's supposed to keep the front seal from leaking. Yeah, right. I mean, I get it. It was 1971, but it's not 1971 anymore. It's 2022, man. We're gonna go to the next level. So I'm gonna try and find one of these
I'm gonna toss this whole thing in the parts washer. I'll rip this oil filter off, clean all this stuff up the best I can. We'll clean up the front of this the best we can, get that timing chain off of there, get the new timing chain gears on there. Yeah. Now that I got that off of there, I'm going to throw a towel across here, and then I'm going to clean up the front of this the best I can, get this all cleaned up here. There should be engine block markings here somewhere on the front of this. I know there's one right here. That's just a regular stamping, but there should be like the last four or the VIN or something stamped around in here somewhere. Maybe we'll uncover that ancient artifact. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna get the old wire wheel. Maybe just a Scotch-Brite pad on the end of my die grinder and just kind of everything a little cleaner there. But I'll throw a towel over top of here so I don't get anything in there. I'll clean around the bottom edge of this first, and then, I don't know, maybe I'll try and throw a piece of cardboard over this or something. I don't know. But without the timing chain and everything on there, I can clean way over into here without, you know, it just gives me more room. So. I actually found the number right here, the block number. So I'll put that in the old Google box and see what we come up with. All right, guys, listen up. Here's the number. 41H414043. The block casting on the back says it's 455. This should tell us a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So compression ratio, maybe what cam it had, with stage 1, stage 2 block. Hell, I don't know. It's gonna tell you all kinds of stuff. You guys look it up, see if you can figure it out faster than I can. I'm gonna keep working on this. It's a day we've all been anxiously awaiting, or at least I have. Seems like it's been months I've been working on this. I had a lot of setbacks. I ordered the seal for the front of the timing cover. It should be here in a few days. Seems like the only place I could get one, an updated one anyway, a decent one, is from TA Performance. They do a lot of Buick stuff and some other oddball kind of vehicles. Well, not oddball, but not mainstream. They're not LS motors. Anyway, so I got that coming, and I got the heads done. I was sick for about 2 weeks. It's been kind of hectic, but we're getting her done. And today we are going to put the heads on. So I'll give you guys a little information here. Anytime you're doing this stuff, always get a book out and read up on your engine or whatever job you happen to be doing. I have lots of books up here. So on this, give you guys a little bit of cool information here. So I highlighted everything that pertains to my engine. I also went to the front of the book and I jotted down anyway, I jotted down what page it's at, so next time I don't have to like look through and look through and look through. So according to the markings on the engine that I found, this is, of course, it's a 71, and it's marked TR, so it's going to be 315 horse. Kind of wish I had the 330 horse model there, but anyway, doesn't matter. Flip the page. I just went through. I'm not going to use all these specs on the stuff that I'm doing, but I highlighted them all just so that I could kind of show you guys. So, you know, it shows your general specs here. And of course, again, I've got my engine, and it was a 4-barrel, 315 horse at 4,400 RPMs, 450 foot-pounds of torque at 2,800, which is pretty good numbers. It's only got 8.5 to 1 compression,
and it should have 40 psi of oil pressure, roughly, somewhere around there. 8.5 1 compression kind of sucks, but I knew that because I looked at those pistons and they got a pretty good dish in them, so I knew they were going to be the lower compression pistons, but no big deal. Then of course here it's showing you your horsepower again. It's telling you what plugs to put in it, your gap, blah 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 blah, your points and all that other crap. Except I got a distributor from wish.com, so we'll be converting this over to HEI, so we only got a handful of wires, and we don't have to deal with all that garbage. Shows your valve degrees. Sorry, I'm trying to read this through the camera here, but anyway, tells you everything you need here. Idle speed, all that fun stuff. Keep flipping the page here. We got more information here for capacity, so how much oil you need to put in this thing and all that other crap. So let's say you for some reason had a bad dipstick or a broken dipstick, or something was wrong with your dipstick. You could always come here and go, okay, so it's supposed to have 5.5 quarts of oil, let's say, or 5 quarts of oil. Then you know that all you got to do is drain all the oil out, put 5 quarts in, shove your new dipstick in there, pull it out, and wherever it's at, it's full. Mark your dipstick however you want to mark it with, I don't know, a Dremel or something. Put a little etch mark in there or something, or a little baby F for full send, and then you got a brand new dipstick. All the valve specs, torque specs, ring gap, connecting rods, all that fun stuff. It's all in here. So what we really need is the cylinder heads, and we're going to be going to 100 foot-pounds. So that's what we'll be doing. And then I've also got, on this page, it just shows you what order you should torque them down in. So it's, kind of typical, inside to the outside, nothing major, but it's always best to look in case your specific year or engine or something has something special. But anyway, I just figured I'd show you guys that kind of thing there quick. I'm sure most of you guys know how to read these books or have these books piled up somewhere, but some people don't. And so, your local swap meet for $5, you can learn all kinds of stuff about your motor. So I've got this all cleaned off, and the driver's side is ready for the head and the gasket to go on. We got these cool little locator pins, so I can just slap my gasket right on there. And then I've wiped that surface down with alcohol. I've wiped down this surface of the head with alcohol. And then I've screwed a couple of bolts in the sides of here, so hopefully I can manhandle this thing over there and set it right on there without having to struggle too much. I've also taken the hood hinges off of this thing because we don't need those where we're going. I've also tore all the garbage off the firewall that I don't need. Wires, hoses, all the garbage that usually hangs back here and it's always in your way. All that shit's in the garbage now. I am going to take the throttle cable and probably zip tie it back over here just so it's out of the way. And we'll slap this head in. We'll get her torqued down. Then we'll go over, we'll do the other head, get it torqued down. And then, I don't know if I'll have time to do the intake today, but of course you guys will see it because I'll do it. Maybe tomorrow. Also, I've counted all my bolts and made sure that I didn't lose any of them during the process, and I have them separated between heads. So I've got all those bolts for that head, all these bolts for this head. And I've also cleaned up all my bolts on the wire wheel so that everything's nice and clean. I won't get super filthy. And yeah. Let's put a little bit of WD-40 around those, right around the rings, just to make sure they're lubed up when we crank this over. Alright, let's put this baby on here. Now for the fun part.
Okay, so now we can torque that baby down. And we're going to 100 foot-pounds, so I've set this at 50. I'm going to go halfway, and then I'll come back and go the second half. There we go. Take our bolts out of here. We'll blow a little bit of air in the other side. Blow the dirt off that side over there. Put a little WD-40 in there. Wipe everything down. We'll be slapping the other one in there. Put our gasket right down on there. Perfect. In. There we go. All right, guys, now we need to install all the push rods and all the rocker arms. So I'll go grab all that stuff and we'll get on that. I'm gonna pull them out one at a time. I'm just gonna look at them, make sure that, oh, focus camera, try to focus. I'm just gonna make sure that the hole isn't obstructed. Man, these things look clean. Somebody, when they had this thing apart, I don't know if they replaced something. These look new. But anyway, I'm just gonna make sure that there's no dirt or garbage in there. Maybe wipe the top off, blow them off a little bit, and then I'm gonna put them back in and I'm gonna squirt a bunch of 1030 on top of them. Make sure there's oil around them when I drop them in there. And then we'll go on from there. It's not burnt, they're not new to me anyway. I'm gonna assume that they're already broke in, so I'm not gonna have to like put a bunch of break-in lube or anything crazy on them. I just wanna make sure there isn't any chunks of dirt in there that's gonna cause drama. So what I've done is I put an old push rod in here so that I can put my lifter on top and just push down. And this one ain't moving. Yeah, that ain't good. Look at that, guys. Look at the pitting on the side of that. That's pits. That's definitely a bad lifter. That's definitely a bad lifter. So I've set that bad lifter right there like that. We'll come back and deal with it later. That's why I pulled them all out, guys. See that one there? Of course, we found that stuck one. This one's got a little chunk of gasket in there. A little bit of orange Permatex from the Permatex guy. Look at that big old chunk of Permatex I dug out of there. Look at that. Now it's gone. pinch them together, pop that out of there. This is guaranteed to shoot across the shop and be lost forever. Got it. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe there's just a bunch of trash buildup in there. I'll get this all wiped out. Put fresh oil in it. Get her lubed up good. Put her back together. Push rod sideways in the vise. Over here. Then I can put pressure this way. And I should be able to pop that clip on. If that doesn't work, I'll figure out a way to put the lifter in there. Put a hole in my hand. So as long as I can do this. Got it. And it works. It's a little stiffer than the other ones, but it actually works now. Yeah, look at that. Big nasty pit. But, whatever. It was in there before. I'm sure it'll be fine. Probably not. I should probably look through all these and make sure that they're not any chunks of shit in them. I marked these when I took them apart. Put a zip tie on the driver's side, so I would know to put them back together the correct way. Okay, so grab a socket and a ratchet. Got my impact here. Now I put this all the way down on one, and I am not just going to hammer these in here. We're going to go slow, for sure, just to get them down close. Okay, I'm going to make sure these babies are all where they're supposed to be. And creating no drama. Then we'll look at our book, see what our torque specs are. Because honestly, I haven't even looked, but I know it ain't much. Tighten bolts a little at a time to 25 to 30 foot-pounds. That one. Boom shakalaka. Those should be good. time to put this intake on there. It's been a long time wrenching on this thing, but it is that time. So remember the lifter issue I had the other day? I actually went on AutoZone.com and they had the lifters in stock. I couldn't believe it. I didn't think it was the truth. So I drove down there and somebody in '04 ordered lifters and didn't pick them up, and they still had them on the shelf. So that lifter that I had with that bad casting line in it and that I tore apart and tried to rebuild, swapped her out for a new one. And because they had 4, I bought all 4 because why not, right? I just thought that was pretty cool. I couldn't believe that they actually had those. I got all my bolts for the intake. One of them, this one here, she's pretty much gave up lawn life. So I dug a new one out of my parts bin there, and I got a lock washer to go on it so we can full send that. Oh, dropping stuff. So the intake, we got her all cleaned up and ready to go on. I don't know if you guys ever done these gaskets before. It's typical GM. These go in the front and the back. They always leak. They tell you to put a bunch of Permatex on there. The trick is, the cork gaskets actually do work quite a bit better than the rubber ones. The rubber ones like to move and wiggle out of the way, especially after you put Permatex on there. They get slippery. One of mine's got the old dangle to it. I'm going to put it in the front so I can watch it fail. The trick to that is this Permatex high-tack gasket sealant. You put a little bit of this on the bottom and the top of these babies. When you slap them in there, you wait a minute or two, basically glues them in there, and they're a lot less likely to slide out on you. So if you don't have this stuff, definitely get this stuff. We got our aluminum gasket here. It's got these little catches on the sides. They come flat. You kind of give her the old bend job, and then when you go to put her in there, you pop it down in there and you push. She likes to put herself right where it needs to be, and you just line your holes up. So leaning out over here, lift this 150-pound intake on here is always a pain in the ass. So if you're going to do it by yourself and you have an engine hoist, use it. The trick there, you have your pull plate on your carburetor mount. You can swing that baby over here and you can just set her down nice and slow and get perfect execution on that without anything, pissing you off, driving you nuts. Set it right down on there. It is the way to do it. I've done a bunch of them that way. Super easy. I happen to have Jason over here. He's going to help me. We're just going to set this baby down on here, probably cuss, holler, throw wrenches around, and we're going to get this intake bolted on there. Now we did roll this over twice after we lubed up the cam and dumped a bunch of 30 weight on all the lifters, so all that stuff's good. We checked and made sure all the valves are operating like they should instead of, half of them being stuck like they were before. So I think we're ready to rock and roll, and I'm really digging the patina on this motor. So a guy did the right thing, and while I was in there picking up them lifters, I picked up a couple cans of clear engine enamel. When we get this thing done, I'm just going to clear right over all this rust because that's what we want. We don't want this thing blue or pink or orange or any of those funny colors kids are painting their motors. Fake chrome and all that shit. No, we want full rust. Just protect it. You got to protect the rust, guys. So that's what I'm going to do. And yeah. Anyway, I'll get this camera up on the tripod and we'll slap this intake on there. going back together. Mint. All right, guys, so Jason and I got the intake on there. We just got a couple of plugs that we need to fill in. You know, we did away with all the accessories. The only accessory we're going with is full throttle, so we don't need any of that junk on there. I got a little Quadrajet, or Quadrajunk, whatever you like to call it, but this is off of a big block Chevy, so it ought to have plenty of CFMs to at least get this thing fired up, see if it runs. I got a Holly 600, but I think this thing really needs like a 750, so I'm kind of hunting around on the old interwebs because I'm not buying a new one. And then we'll get the transmission vacuum line hooked in. We'll get all this stuff plugged off. I got a brand new thermostat housing coming in because I just needed the gasket, but AutoZone actually had the whole housing and everything for like 20 bucks. So I'm like, just order it because mine's usable, but not, you know, not in very good shape. So we're gonna get this stuff all buttoned up here. Got the valve cover just kind of sitting on it for now to keep trash from falling down in there. I'm still waiting on the front seal for the timing cover. As soon as it gets here, man, it will be go time. But we're gonna do everything we can until then. I really like this rust patina look, so we're definitely gonna be shooting the clear coat on it here real soon. That way we can protect the fine good looks of this big block Buick. All right, guys, quick little trick here. Got this little thing here at a store somewhere. I don't know, AutoZone, O'Reilly somewhere. Anyway, they're little plugs for carburetors so you can block off all the 900 vacuum lines you don't need. If you got one that's not quite the right size, but it's real close, you can just use a little bit of thread tape. Whoosh, give her about 4 or 5 wraps or how many you need. Then your little rubber boot will fit on there nice and snug. That's what we did right here. You can see the little pipe tape sticking out of there. Little perfect. Got a lot of stuff done today. The valve covers aren't done permanently bolted down. Still got to bolt those down, but I'm not going to do those right away. We're going to make sure we get the timing cover on it and prime the oil pump. Make sure we got oil flowing through everything before I bolt those valve covers on. But we got the clear coat on it. I like how it shines. I think it looks perfect. Perfectly rusty. I dug out this old air cleaner that was in the trunk. I actually had two. This is the best looking one. Once we get this timing cover on there, then we can toss that water pump back on, the distributor, all that fun stuff. We can start hooking up all the power lines and get this baby cranking off. Yeah, I'm stoked, guys. I'm gonna rip some of this extra garbage off of here and kind of clean the engine bay up. We don't need this washer fluid tank, and there's all kinds of stuff. I might leave the windshield washer or windshield wiper motor in here, but other than that, I think that air conditioning box, that's gonna go. I need to get a new overflow tank. That one's broken and it looks like crap. We'll get something cool to stick over there, like, I don't know, a mini keg or something. Who knows what? We'll figure out something cool. But yeah, I'm stoked. Got a lot kind of tossed together today. Got a lot figured out, so we'll keep on trucking.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoy making these things for you. So like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends. I really appreciate all the support. I'll try and get the next video out to you as fast as I can. Hopefully we can get this thing wired up and fired up. But until next time, keep on wrenching. Peace.